major stereotypes. Show this for a reason so you can understand where this text comes from and why maybe there is a responsibility for black artists as a whole, what has been admitted by American media about African Americans. Now, this is an argument in both of the principality why the black aesthetic critics are part of the race problem, not the solution. So what we're going to be dealing with, excuse me, is how or whether or not we actually do, as black people and artists, have a responsibility to our race. First things first, we saw a major, montage of walking stereotypes where black actors were forced to in cinema just to get a role, a major role. I want to define aesthetic. Here's the black aesthetic critics. In essence, the word aesthetic is of or concerning the appreciation of beauty or good taste. So when people talk about your aestheticism or the aesthetics of people in general, they're actually talking about the outer image, the appearance, okay? Now with art work, you kind of have to look under the appearance of the work, whether it's cinematic, whether it's literary text, you have to leave under. But when people talk about your aesthetics, basically they're talking about your looks, your physical beauty, or lack thereof. The Black Arts Movement roughly dates back to 1965. It was spurned by the death, or the assassination rather, February 21st, 1965, of Malcolm X. It's also referred to the spiritual sister of the Black Power movement. It refers to ideologies and perspectives. Ideologies are just beliefs of art that center around black culture and black life. Negative depictions of black Americans within artistic creations, whether they're books, media, cinema, music, and even your own personal life are important as a form of artistry. Whatever you live and whatever you do is a form of artistry. And that's what the problem is with the Black Arts Movement. How do we break away from the stereotypes that have existed for years and years? Historians roughly date 1619 to when African Americans first set foot on North American soil. There will be people that will tell you that there was blacks in the boat with Columbus. And I really don't want to deal with all the nuances of history. We're just going to start with 1619. We'll go with what we call white history when they say we got it. Black writers must attempt to make their full ethnicity a moot point in order to fully assimilate and have their works truly respected within the American textual canon. Now, when I say canon, what I'm talking about is everything that exists. For instance, any television show that existed in American history is a part of the textual visual canon. Any book that's been written, or the things that they tell you to read on your book list in junior high school, and here in college, that's part of the canon. These books have been chosen by somebody for some reason. And often they have a message, correct, that's trying to make you buy into the American, I guess you could say, belief system or perspective. And that's fine because we're all Americans, but we also have to look at who controls these messages and why will these messages persist and why are they a part of the canon. The black writer must forego the assimilationist tradition and redirect his art to the strivings within the race. Those strivings that have become so pronounced here in the latter half of the 20th century and now the early 21st century. To do so, he must write for and speak to the majority of black people. And this is from Ishmael Reed and the New Black Aesthetics. In essence, assimilationist tradition is trying to fit in with the masses. The dominant culture is always groups of minorities are trying to fit in with, so we can get a foothold, whether it's occupational, financial, or social. Now, I'm not a fan of assimilating just for assimilation's sake, but that's what you're asked to do as part of the American culture. Now, Ishmael Reed, you'll see he's a major key writer and one of the originators of the Black Arts Movement, and they felt like we needed to do something to not only endorse or project our traditional heritage to America, but also to celebrate who we are as individuals. W.B. Du Bois says we want to be Americans, full-fledged Americans, with all the rights of other American citizens. Therefore, black writers should not concentrate on their race and the situations that exist because of their race in order to promote a particular agenda of racial upliftment or black nationalism, if you will. Du Bois is kind of being ironic or antagonistic to what I'm saying, because they're saying we want to be full-fledged Americans, right? One way to be full-fledged American is not to just wear your race on your sleeve, which I mean is we shouldn't have to have this responsibility to uplift every single person that looks like me or you just because we're black. For instance, everybody that's black is not your friend, are they? No. Yes, no? No. A lot of people have different belief systems and cultural traditions than you do. Each person's individual upbringing has to do with how they are internally. So I don't think it's necessarily the responsibility of the black artist, black scholar, black musician to carry the whole race along. What that does is actually, in my opinion, it kind of creates a re-enslavement of the black people, mentally, not just physically. A lot of people think that slavery is over just because we're not physically in bondage anymore. Mental slavery is much more worse. You have to understand that a lot of us have traditional beliefs that we should not be this way or the other because of how it's been passed on from generation to generation because of the result of slavery. Black aestheticism should no longer exist because it pigeonholes and stifles the creativity of the black writer. Which I mean by that, whenever you look at black writers, whether they're rappers, book writers, playwrights, they're always having to kind of be this model of success or this model that I'm going to be the black writer. That adjective or that signifier pisses me off because you can't never get away from the stereotypes once you're always called a black writer, a black scholar, a black intellectual. Now, adhering to the black aesthetics belief does nothing to further the intellectual and artistic quality of the African American writer or artist because of its yearning to marginalize the writer, thus enslaving him or her to create only what the black aesthetics deem fitting for the race, only writings that uplift or are helpful to the black race as a whole. Do we believe, and I'm going to jump back into the lecture, but maybe somebody can jump in and help me. Do we believe that there is some particular agenda that we as black people need to all be unified for, right? Some people say justice. We're going to touch on that in a moment. P-Dot, particularly the Trayvon Martin case. But I'm trying to figure out, is it necessary for us to be kind of pigeonholed and to be representatives of the race? Because that can become very, a big weight on your shoulders to always have to be the black model for other black people to carry your race like that. You know, that should be a responsibility that we should have to take on a regular basis. Major writers that you probably know of, definitely we all should know. Everybody familiar with Maya Angelou, poet Maya Angelou, Mary Baraka, Larry Neal, Nikki Giovanni, Lorraine Hansberry, though she wrote her greatest work in the 50s, she's actually considered to be a predecessor of the Black Arts Movement with The Raisin in the Sun. We're all familiar with that. And that's an excellent play. Once you look at it, you'll see that it's literally a Black Arts Movement play because it's showing, do you be completely black and stay in the community like her son wanted to do? The mother in the play, son wanted to stay in the community and not move, but the mother wanted to move to a white neighborhood. He felt like she was trying to be something she wasn't by trying to assimilate and fit in. So that's really, it's actually a personification of the two sides of that. People that, Black Arts Movement people, which were the son, and also the mother, which was more so people that felt like, I need to try to be white or just be free to live wherever I want to live. So the mother was somewhat synonymous with my beliefs on the Black Arts Movement. The advent and creation, now we got to look at the effects of the Black Arts Movement. I want to speed it up because I want to do a lot of discussion. I think discussion will be more important than me standing here talking about all this textual jargon and all this, that, and other. The effects of the Black Arts Movement, you got to understand that it's really major literary works, right? Nothing but books and plays and essays and scholarly pieces that were talking about the black problem and also trying to celebrating the black tradition and black culture and black heritage. Now, the effects of the Black Arts Movement on aesthetics were, first of all, black exploitation films, which they call, nicknamed black exploitation, films of the 1970s, which were set in the Northeast or the West Coast. They typically took place in ghettos and featured plot lines which entail crime, hitmen, drug dealers, pimps, and they often feature corrupt policemen and businessmen, almost solely white, who are the antagonists of the black hero. And normally the pimp, the drug dealer, the hustler, black hustler in the neighborhood became the heroic figure. And these movies were actually uplifting. The Black Arts Movement definitely hated black exploitation, but they were uplifting because for the first time we saw black people viewed as being beautiful, attractive. Black females were sex symbols, black males were sex symbols. It showed off true black culture, right? Or popular culture at the time in the 70s. And it also showed black heroes, whether they were involved in skullduggery or criminal activity, that they still overcame the odds and beat the white man. So at the end of these movies, the black heroine or hero always came out on top, and they had the white policemen or corrupt businessmen looking really, really foolish and also looking like losers once so blacks got a chance to see themselves as heroic on film. A lot of this is coming from, I did a lot of my research from Toni Morrison's Playing in the Dark, W.E. Du Bois' Criteria of Negro Art, I researched Larry Neal, and I definitely watched Spike Lee's Bamboozle because it was very important to show how the responsibility of the black artist is something to pay attention to. Funny thing about W. Du Bois, first of all, I will admit that he, not so sure what he was really trying to do with the criteria of Negro art, and I understood why that was necessary in the early part of the 20th century, but he begins to contradict himself altogether with what, well, at least he's in contradiction with what I believe that black artists should be responsible or not responsible for. He asks what we want, what is the thing we're after. We want to be Americans, full-fledged Americans, with all the rights of us American citizens. We who are dark can see America in a way that white Americans cannot, even as you visualize such ideals in your hearts, that these are not the things you really want. You realize that sooner than the average white man, because pushed aside as we have been in America, it has come to us not only a certain distaste for the tawdry and flamboyant, but a vision of what the world could be if it was a beautiful world. Now, I'm all for endorsing and celebrating our heritage and tradition, but I don't think we should have a monolithic idea of black life. Everybody doesn't have to necessarily celebrate their African descent or African heritage. I believe once we got Americanized, which definitely post-slavery, post-antebellum America, then you start to pick up a lot of different traditions, and a lot of people got further and further away from our African heritage. The Black Arts Movement is radically opposed to any concept of art that alienates him from his community. Black art is the aesthetic and spiritual sister of the Black Power concept. As such, it envisions an art that speaks directly to the needs and aspirations of Black America. In order to perform this task, the Black Arts Movement proposes a radical rediscovering or reordering of the Western cultural aesthetic. It proposes symbolism, mythology, critique, and iconology. The Black Arts and the Black Power concept both relate broadly to the Afro-American desire for self-determination and nationhood. Both concepts are nationalistic. One is politics, the other with the arts. The aforementioned defining of the responsibilities and the thematics of black art, be it written, spoken, or visual, assist in constructing an hierarchical structure that creates vision within the Black American artistic and non-artistic communities. And this divisiveness further perpetuates the subjugation and subordination of people and the inequalities that reside in America and its social and ethnic ideological constructs. We have to know that the foundation of the Black Arts Movement was definitely in the criteria of Negro art by W. Du Bois, which was written in 1926. And then we have the Harlem Renaissance in the 30s, 40s, late 30s, 40s, and then pretty much ended out in the late 40s. And then we move into the Civil Rights Movement, the Black American, modern Black American Civil Rights Movement in the 50s. And then you have maybe a 10-year stint where it's just pure civil rights and everybody's unified, right? Just like people are going for the Trayvon case. But then, after the death of Malcolm X, you had radical black artists that felt like this was an attack on black Americans, freedom of expression and embracing of their nationhood, right? Because the Nation of Islam embraces Afrocentricity just like we do here at LeMoyne-Owen College. That's really what spurred the movement, like I mentioned before in several slides earlier. Du Bois in 1926, way before the 60s and 70s, he rhetorically substantiates the black artist's responsibility to create pertinent and profound material that is instrumental in deconstructing the negative stereotypes of the black American while also reconstructing the black American image as positive and worthless rather than worthless. And you saw all these negative stereotypes. Now these stereotypes were coming from Broadway plays, they were coming from local plays, they were coming from minstrel shows, they were coming from television, movies. You got to pay attention to that. And this is what America had saw of us. So if people didn't know black people, they were just watching cinema, right? And even reading books from Uncle Tom's Cabin, Mark Twain years ago, like 30 years before Du Bois even wrote Criteria of Negro Art. We're looking at Pudd'nhead Wilson. You have all these different caricatures of black people, walking stereotypes. So people started to connote or associate these stereotypes with who we were as a people. The mere idea that all black artists must monolithically, meaning thinking the same one mind thought, which none of us in here have one mind thought, do we? None of us. The mere idea that all black artists must monolithically represent their race through their individual art and the creation thereof is another form of subordination. Once again, you're re-enslaving somebody if you're trying to tell them what to do. You don't have freedom like you think you do. If these black aesthetic critics, the people that said this is the criteria of Negro art, to be positive, to celebrate our tradition and our heritage, and nothing should be detrimental, and you shouldn't buy into those stereotypes or recreate those stereotypes.